Hello. Okay, so here we go. We are going to do a full analysis of the STA bus system. You might be wondering why I am doing this, but because I want to do it. So that is why we're doing this. And here we go. This is 4 phases, quick introduction about supply and demand, and here's basically the map. And as you can, hopefully, if you understand this thing, good for you. You are well known. You have lots of knowledge about the STA transit system. If you don't understand it, then that's good. That's why you're here today. Or you could be here just to test my knowledge, or you could be here just for fun. I don't know why you're here just for fun, but anyways, here we go. Well, hopefully you'll understand this map a little bit better. Here we go. And first, before we begin, why should people care? So just an introduction about me quickly. STA gave a kindergarten through 12 a free bus pass, and I took full advantage of it because I'm cheap planning bus routes. And I just want to say that planning bus routes is a logistical nightmare. Just imagine all of the work put into knowing what are we going to route this out. If we're going to make a bus route, what bus is that going to interline into? What's going to happen with that? Who's going to drive it? All of that stuff. How is it going to work? What's going to, all of that logistical nightmare stuff. I guess right now I'm a SpongeBob in the transit system while everyone else is Squidward. And what that means is that SpongeBob is a person kids, I guess, who's a kid. He really enjoys it, and I'm that person because I really enjoy learning about buses. I like riding them for some reason, while everyone else is Squidward because they use it because that's how they get to work, that's how they shop, that's their life. They have to they have to spend 1 hour just to get when they could drive when it takes 10 minutes instead. So I'm the SpongeBob, you're probably a SpongeBob. Also, just before we begin, I'm just going to introduce a sarcastic camera. So I feel like people don't understand my tone, so I'm going to introduce sarcasm cam, and it goes like this. You're going to hear this music. It's Seinfeld, you get it? Okay, so I'll give you an example. The STA bus system is perfect. The South Hill is really significant in the STA bus system. Okay, you get the idea. Here we go. Really quickly, introduction to Spokane. Spokane metropolitan area. Here we go. Northside. You see that? See, that's the north side up there? That's the north side. Why? Because it's in the north. This is the South Hill. Why is it in the south? Because it's the south. This is Spokane Valley because it's in the valley. And then over here, this represents the West Plains area. I'm just going to turn off my camera real quick. You can see the STA Plaza is right here. And you got the West Plains area services 3 main areas. That is the Airway Heights area. Then there's Medical Lake, and then there's Cheney. Those are all of the West Plains route, and then this is just the center, and that's really it. So remember, you got Northside, you got South Hill, Spokane Valley, and West Plains. Those are the 4 major areas that STA serves. So we're going to go quickly about supply and demand. Here we go. This is Division Street. Division has 6 lanes, 3 going north, 3 going south, with sometimes a raised median or a curb, and sometimes a left turn lane like a Division and Wellesley. It also, at the beginning of Division, near around downtown, it turns into Ruby northbound, 4 lanes northbound and 4 lanes southbound on Division closer to downtown. You can also see shopping areas. You got this plaza relatively near Northtown Mall. You got Northtown Mall over here. This is Northtown Square right next to Northtown Mall. You got North Point Plaza with Best Buy, Target, Big Lots, TJ Maxx, Safeway, all of that good stuff. And this is just a bunch of shopping centers or Lowe's. You got Taco Bell, very important. That's near Division and Francis. And now this is Sprague Avenue, the Valley. It starts as a road diet closer to downtown. What that means is that 2 lanes, one going one way, one going another way, with a 2-way left turn lane or a center lane. That is the center lane where you can take a left into a driveway. Then Sprague turns in 2 lanes both way with a twiddle, and then it splits into Appleway and Sprague, 5 lanes east and west. Then 3 lanes after University both ways with a twiddle. But basically, this picture is simply just a bunch of cars, and I just want to show you how vast Sprague is, and it's just lots of car dealerships. You know what? I actually think that there isn't enough car dealerships here. Okay, there's Regal and 29th South Hill. Regal, you can see Target. You got Regal Plaza at the Palouse. You got Lincoln Heights Shopping Center. That's on 29th, and then you got Manitou Shopping Center. You can't see it, but here it is. And then those are basically the major areas on Regal and 29th. Regal Ultras has basically 2 lanes with a twiddle, and then it also has a road diet or something like that. It has a road diet where it has 2 lanes going, one way going north, one way going south, and then has a 2-way left turn lane in the middle. And then sometimes between around Ferris, it has about 4 lanes. And 29th is a similar situation. But what I'm getting at here is basically Division has much more lanes. It has more shopping centers. Sprague has way too many car dealerships. And the South Hill is pretty much nothing. And it could be said here. Northside has 13 routes. The Valley has 11 routes. West Plains we're kind of ignoring, but it has 9. South Hill it has 6. The Northside has double the routes than the South Hill. So what I'm getting at is that because there's more people, there's going to be more bus routes. Same with the Valley, there's more people, and in South Hill there's just not enough people, so there's not enough demand. So that's why the North Side has double the routes than the South Hill. We're going to go over the demographics real quick. Ages this is STA, that means local data, ages 19 to 34. So mostly students. Most are loyal and rely on it, and that's because 68% would not have transportation without STA. So they usually don't have cars. 33% are students, 46% employed, 11% unemployed, 10% retired homemakers. And that's basically local data. Then they also pulled from national data, which is APTA, which is the American Public Transportation Association. I think more people who ride public transit are more likely to come from a household, aka apartments. Typically, they are lower income families ride more often. Destinations for using the bus include working, shopping, and recreation. And other reasons that people ride the bus is for it's cheaper, it's convenient, they prefer it over driving, and they enjoy riding. That's national data. I'm going to further go in about who rides. This is an income distribution map. This is data from 2019 census from citydata.com. It's not a .edu. That's too bad. But .coms are truly, I'm pretty sure they're pretty safe. Okay, this is Spokane. You can see that the grayer areas means that there's more richer folks over there. And then the north side, you can see there's not a lot of gray area. So I'm just gonna say the north side is poorer than the South Hill. There's car ownership data. You can see that the poorer you are, the more less likely you are to have a car. You see, the poorest at the poorest you have a 60% chance of not owning a car, or more than that. And then you can see at the richest you can have up to 3 cars. And also this graph over here says older Americans buy majority of cars. You can see, remember, the majority of riders are 19 to 34. Well, guess what? Only 11% have new vehicles or new cars. Maybe they have used cars, but only 11% have new cars, which is why they're riding the bus more often. This is apartment renters. It's mostly starting out singles, young adult roommates. You can see on this graph. There's pet people, young couples, working families, moving on up, middle income boomers, permanent renters. Those are basically young folks, 19 to 34. And then you can see age groups, which is more, direct. You got under 35 years is 35% of all apartments. So remember that people who live in apartments ride the bus. So I'm going to say who rides the bus. This is just more general and probably blunt. Apartment users consisting of adults, college kids, low-income users going to work, retired folks, Northside and Valley people, and just me in the entire South Hill. And I'm the only rider in the South Hill, obviously. Okay, and also really sketchy people. That's the part of public transit. And yeah, here we go. And once again, Northside 13 routes, Valley 11 routes, West Plains 9 routes, and South Hill 6 routes. Even though it sucks that I'm in the South Hill, I happen to be in the South Hill, but I ride the bus more often because I like it, and because I live in a richer neighborhood, and also there's just a bunch of older people. That means that there's less support for me because no one rides the bus, so I have less bus routes that I can use, which stinks. So, and the funny thing is that South Hill folks are paying for the Northside public transit system. That's pretty funny. Okay, and before we begin analyzing every single bus route, we're going to classify and real quick. There's mobility routes, buses that are designed or / used to get from point A to B as quick as possible. And what I mean by that is that bus route, let's say you're taking the 90, that is going to go from downtown to the Valley Transit Center. I'm not talking about the downtown to Costco. I'm talking about downtown to the Valley Transit Center. And example of these buses, they usually travel on the highway, and they sometimes travel on less important roads where there's less traffic or more stops available. And then there's access routes, buses that are designed / used to access different residential, commercial, industrial buildings. And an example is that buses that go through neighborhoods, example, buses that go through major commercial areas. So the goal here is a bus to go along as many places where more people would ride. So say if I live in a neighborhood, like for me, I live on my bus stop is 37th in Pittsburgh. The bus is going to pass through that and I can get on right there. Therefore, it's an access route rather than a mobility route, because I'm not getting on like downtown or at South Hill Park and Ride in that situation. And one last thing, the STA numbering system. Zeros are crosstown routes. So the only example at the moment is 4, and then 10s are 4, and so it goes from example from the north to the north side to the South Hill, and then 10s are downtown routes. Those go around downtown. 20s are north side routes. They go on the north side. Connecting routes go, for example, it could connect the north side to the valley. They just usually don't go to the downtown hub. And 40s are South Hill routes. They go on the South Hill. 60s are West Plains route. Remember, we're talking about Airway Heights, Cheney, Medical Lake. And 70s and 90s are Valley routes. 70s usually being associated with Liberty Lake. And 100s are low occurring express routes. And what I mean by low occurring is that low occurring means that buses that usually don't operate on the weekends. And that's how it is. So, here, phase 2, literally every single bus route, we're going to analyze it right here. I'm going to go in numerical order, but we're going to introduce a few of the major buses before we begin. And those are the 4 big boy bus routes of Spokane. I've decided that it's the 4, the 25, the 61, and the 90. The 61 may be up for debate, but I just put it there because I felt it was, but it could be up for debate. But the 4, the 25, and 90 are definitely the biggest routes offered in Spokane. So we're going to start with the 4, the big boy bus of Spokane. I'm really creative with my naming. South Hill travels along Regal, 29th, and Grand. Those are the major roads that we were talking about. Regal has many shopping centers like the Palouse. It has a sports complex, as you can see on the map right there. Ferris High School passes by that. It connects South Hill Park and Ride and Moran Station Park and Ride, so that's pretty cool. And then it travels on 29th, and that passes by Manitou Shopping Center, so Super One, Ross, all of that jazz. Manitou Park, it passes by that, so that's pretty cool. Grand is also an area with, I think, apartments and also neighborhoods, so that people can board right there. And then it passes by Sacred Heart Medical Center, so people can get to work through that way, and then it goes downtown. And then it also passes by LC, or Lewis and Clark High School. On the north, and usually when going to downtown from the South Hill, it's usually people want to go directly downtown. But when they're coming from the south, going back to home, they're usually going to go on more stops, I think. And then that's what I mean by northbound mobility, southbound access. Then the north side, it's going to travel along Monroe, and that's it. Monroe is mainly commercial, but is on a road diet and closer to, I'm not sure, closer to residential areas. And there's a bunch of shopping buildings, I think. And it goes to 5 Mile Park and Ride, a major commercial area with food mainly. And northbound is an access, southbound is a mix on the north side. And it's one of the first crosstown routes, and I think has been a huge success for STA. The 25 is the big boy bus of the north side. Division is the busiest road in Spokane. It's a height, so therefore this is the biggest bus in all of Spokane. If the 25 doesn't exist, then Spokane is going to fall apart. It's a high frequency bus, including on Saturdays, with accordion buses. Technically, they're called articulated buses, but they're really accordion buses. You can see the accordion right there. They're articulated, but I'm going to call them accordion bus. You can see it right here. Anyways, the 25 actually is pretty on time. No, it's actually very late. It's consistently late because it's just so busy, and it's on Division, which means it's the most. And here's why. So let's just role play real quickly. Okay, you're on the bus, and oh no, would you look at that? A teenager is boarding, and oh, look at that. They actually are looking for their pass, and the bus driver decides not to go. And oh no, we missed a stoplight at Wellesley and Division, and we have to wait that so long for the stoplight to turn green again. Oh, that's great. And oh no, another person is boarding the bus, and oh wait, they they pulled the string, and they pulled the string too early, which means they're not going to get off the bus, and the bus is just going to stop there, and it's just going to sit on signs, because nobody's going to tell the bus driver that they need to go stop ahead because they pulled the cord too early. So now we're just stopping without moving for a while, and now we missed another stoplight. And oh no, it's actually winter time, and now this bus is completely late. So that's basically the situation. Destination for this bus is Hastings Park and Ride, which is very north. It almost goes to Wandermere, that area. And Division has, the reason why it's the busiest is because it has the most commercial buildings out of every street. You saw in the previous slide where there was a Northtown Mall, there was North Point Plaza, all of that stuff. And also, said here, it passes by the biggest mall in Spokane, yet the most depressing mall because so many stores are closed. And I said here, North Point Shopping Center, Whitworth, and it ends off around 395. It also goes to North Point Plaza. As you can see, it doesn't continue on Division. It takes a right around the Y area, and it goes to North Point Shopping Center. So that's pretty cool. Then the 61, the big boy bus of Airway Heights, it has 30-minute frequency, but with the 60 combined, it provides 15-minute frequency. It goes through Browns Addition, through Pacific. There's mostly neighborhood there, and I think apartments too, and there's some few shops along Pacific, and it goes through Sunset Boulevard with many apartments along the way. I think star of the show is Airway Heights. That's where I think that's where most people are getting off. It has Cross Point Shopping Center, quite a few shops around there. Casinos, Northern Quest Casino, Spokane Tribe Casino, and it goes all the way to Fairchild Air Base, but I'm not sure I'm not sure if a lot of people, I've only ridden this once and not past Airway Heights. Sadly, this is the only access bus, and there's no mobility buses nearby, so expect to have a lot of stops and expect for it to be pretty crowded because everyone wants to go to Airway Heights, or everyone's going back downtown from Airway Heights. So that is the 61. This is the 90, the big boy bus of the valley. Sprague is the second busiest road in Spokane. It has high frequency only on weekdays and sometimes accordion buses or articulated. Sprague is riddled with commercial buildings, especially car dealerships, which I don't think there's enough. I think they should put way more. Like, car dealerships are so beautiful, and they're so beautiful to look at because everybody is buying cars all the time. So we should put even more car dealerships along Sprague. It's a brilliant idea. Okay, the only reliable route to get to downtown if you live in the valley, and what I mean by that, say you live along Sprague and say you live past the Valley Transit Center. This is the Valley Transit Center right here. You live east of that. Now, if you live east of that, guess what? You're going to have to take another bus. You're going to have to take the bus to get to the Valley Transit Center, and then you're going to have to take the 90 to get to downtown, which really stinks because you're going to have to take two buses to get to downtown. Well, if I live in the South Hill or the North Side, I can take the 43, or I can take the 27 or the 22 on the North Side to get to downtown. So that means you have to take two buses to get to downtown because of the Valley Transit Center is its own hub in the valley. So much more work to deal with. And also another problem, since you have to take the 90 to get to downtown, it's a big problem because it's an access bus. All because there are major stops like Walmart, Costco, car dealerships, Winco Foods, all of that stuff that people are always going to stop at. And also, not to mention, on the road diet, there's going to be lots of furniture stores, and people, I'm pretty sure at least 50% of the time, you're going to stop at Helena or Napa along the road diet. And yeah, so the 90 is really important, and it sucks because it's one of the only ways to get to downtown, but especially on weekends. So yeah. And while we're here, fun fact, Sprague is also, as if you're living in the South or the North Side, want to get to the Valley, you can take I-90. But Sprague is also an alternative if you want to avoid the highway. So therefore, this bus is named the 90 after the Interstate 90. How brilliant is that, STA? You're so brilliant. Okay, here we go. Downtown shuttles. This is the 11 and the 12. These are the two routes. This is the Skip the Park bus. Here we go. And so basically, removes the need to walk across the riverfront park. So it's in between. It connects the arena and the plaza. So you can see this map's a little confusing, but here's the 11. This is the arena up here, Spokane Veterans Memorial Arena, and this is the plaza. So all of this is the 11 route. It's extremely frequent, every 20 minutes, but only on weekdays. You know, STA doesn't support weekend service, not much. Anyways, basically pay $4 to save 30 minutes of walking in between Riverfront Park, so that's not bad. It also passes by River Park Square, I&B, and kind of near the Spokane Convention Center. So if you're happen to be staying in Spokane, there you go. Take the 11 shuttle. It also around the arena is the Civic Theater and the Flour Mill, other destinations to go. This is definitely a mobility bus, but also kind of an access bus. I'm going to be saying that a lot, but it's an access bus because it stops by lots of other buildings on Washington Street. This is the 12. I named it the Get Drunk bus. I will explain later. This is the weirdest bus route ever created. Here's why. This is the route on the bottom, so everything below the word the plaza. This is route 12. It has 20-minute intervals again on weekdays, and the final destination is the University District Gateway Bridge. It's very extravagant, very extra. You can see the extra supports right there just because the architecture just wanted to flex on everybody. The bus route passes by major medical centers on the south side of Spokane. We're talking Deaconess Medical Center, I don't know if Ronald McDonald House, but it's somewhere. Shriners Hospital for Children, 6th Avenue Medical Building, I'm assuming. Spokane Eye Clinic, Medical Center Building, Heart Institute, Sacred Heart Doctors, Sacred Heart Medical Center, St. Luke's Rehabilitation Institute, Rockwood Clinic, Inland Imaging, Cancer Care Northwest. So a lot of medical centers. Also, it's close to Lewis and Clark High School. Fun bonus, I guess. This is an access bus because it's not direct at all to the University Gateway Bridge. Ride the 29 or the detour 90 right now, But yeah, and my reasoning for this name is that if you're in college, you might as well get drunk, so you can get drunk, and then you can do weird shiz, and then you can hurt yourself or whatever, and then you got to wait to the hospital. So problem solved. This is why the 12 was created, obviously. Okay, this is Northside routes. Now, this is, again, remember my conversation or whatever, there's the Northside routes. It's everything above the north. How funny. Okay, so bigger area and lower income, so therefore there's going to be a lot of routes here. These are, I think, 13 about. We've already covered the asterisks right here. We've already covered the 4 and the 25, the big boy bus routes. The 4, remember, that goes on Monroe on the north side. The 25 goes on Division on the north side. There's also the 33 and the 39. Those are connecting routes. That's what the dagger represents. We're going to start with the 20, the Falls bus. This is a high-frequency 15-minute interval bus. It travels relatively near Brown's Addition, usually on Clark or Riverside. It passes by the Mac and Broadmoor apartments. Once again, apartments are a gold mine. And it travels along newly built residential areas along Government Way. So apartments, all of that jazz, all of that. And cemeteries too, very depressing. And the most direct route to the SFCC, or possibly the only one if you don't live on Wellesley. But yeah, this is the way you're going to get to SFCC. And it's gonna have some nice scenery, so be prepared for that. This is the 33. Since we're here, we'll go out of order and introduce the 33 bus. This is the be-all-end-all bus, and here's why. It's a high-frequency 15-minute interval, and it connects with pretty much every Northside bus, except for the 21, but we don't talk about that. It starts at SFCC, goes through residential areas, and has the benefit of going through major shopping centers. So, say, for example, if you happen to live near the Shuttles Park Shopping Center or near Walmart in that residential area, like on G Street or G Street in Wellesley, around that area, you can take the bus to the Northtown Mall, so that's pretty cool. And you only have to take one bus and not two usually half the time. It passes by Shuttles Park, Shuttles High School, and Roger High School, so that's pretty cool. It goes down Market Street until it reaches SCC. This is definitely an access bus. Access buses. It stops by many shopping center. It connects to the 23, the 25, the 28, the 27, the 26, I think. And this is definitely the mobility bus for the West, because one thing, there's a Walmart near Shuttles Park Shopping Center, and the best way to get there is to take the 20 and the 33 if you want to get to that Walmart. That's what I saw a lot of people doing, at least. So yeah, it's definitely a mobility bus for the western north side for Walmart. Anyways, the 21, this is the Kendall Yards Woot Woot bus. This, at first glance, this is the dumbest route ever created, but because it has high-frequency 15-minute intervals, yet it's also really short. But I'll give you 2 words why. It's Kendall Yards. Oh, no, wait, let me change that. No. Apartment complexes. Oh, no, let me change that. Expensive apartments. No, let me change that. Young people. Okay, you get the idea. It has Kendall Yards apartment complexes, so you're going to know a lot of people are going to go there. And also, I feel like with an expensive apartments, maybe people aren't going to have to, maybe people are going to ride the bus because it's cheaper to driving, or maybe because these apartments are kind of new-ish. I'm not sure if there's garages to park your car, but anyways, you're probably going to ride the bus. This is it's mainly a residential bus, but it also travels a lot, has many local businesses on Broadway. So it kind of does both at the same time, residential and commercial, and also passes by Spokane government buildings, the Spokane County Courthouse and campus, and Spokane Regional Health District. This is a gold mine for STA because of all the apartments nearby and a lot of the people. And also went to Kendall Yards night market, so that was pretty fun. Lots of people there. COVID doesn't exist over there. Anyways, this is definitely an access bus. This is probably because the roads don't seem to be in the great condition, and there's a lot of apartments along there. This is the 22, the friendly Northside neighborhood bus. This is 30-minute frequency. It travels on busy roads like Monroe, Maple, and Ash, and Francis to provide high frequency area. On Monroe, it's going to provide high frequency along with the 4, the 23, the 21. On Maple and Ash, it's going to provide frequency with the 23. On the 23, and on Francis, it's going to provide some high frequency with the 23. The main roads that this bus also travels on is Northwest, Wellesley, G Street, and Rowan. It travels to Spokane Municipal Buildings. I don't know if that's the right turn. So that's the Spokane County Courthouse and campus, Spokane Regional Health District, Kendall Yards nearby. It travels to the VA Medical Center, definitely a major destination for people to go to, and Sauk Middle School. I passed by Sauk, and it's really nice as far as I could tell. And it ends at 5 Mile, a major shopping center with lots of food like Taco Bell, very important, and a major. This is basically a major residential bus for the North Side. It's basically one of the only ones that goes through the western part of the North Side, so that's why this one exists. 23, it's called the Whoa, That's Far bus, and you can see on the map how far it goes. This is a 30-minute frequency. It's similar to the 22 as it travels through Monroe, Maple, and Ash to provide high frequency. And what I mean by that is from the plaza, it's going to the 22 is going to, let's say it leaves at 2:30. The 23 can leave at 2:45 instead. So it's going to provide high frequency along Maple and Ash until Northwest Boulevard, which is good because there's some residential houses over there, so that's people can have more options with public transit. It passes through major churches, schools, and shopping centers, but is basically a residential area. Between Maple and Ash, there's a few offices or commercial buildings, but after a little while, it's going to turn into mostly residential areas. And it goes all the way to Indian Trail to support neighborhoods outside of Spokane, and this one's definitely a mobility bus that allows access to everywhere along Spokane because you connect to the hub, and now you can go anywhere, so that's pretty cool. This is the 26th, the friendly Northside neighborhood retirement bus. And keep a note, we skipped the 24 because the 24 doesn't exist. The 25 because remember that's the division bus. Now we're on the 26th, the friendly Northside neighborhood retirement bus. It goes through University District and Hamilton. So lots of college kids, I guess. And then it continues through Nevada before rebelling. What I mean by that, it takes a left on Empire Street and does weird shiz. So right there, it's going to do lots of weird stuff. Anyways, turns on Empire to connect to businesses between Division and Hamilton. You can see the 25 right here is on Division, and then you can see the 28, which travels on Nevada. This is kind of like the middle bus. It often passes by residential areas and retirement homes, and it ends near North Point Shopping Center. So if you want, you could go shopping to this bus because there's a Winco along there and a Target. I don't know why you'd buy groceries at Target, but yeah, and it's a companion for the 28 bus. You see this right here, and I'll explain why actually later. We're gonna skip the 27 because you can see it's kind of doing weirdo stuff right now, so we're gonna skip the 27. The 28, the university bus. This bus is just no nonsense. You can see right here, this is the 28. Let's go to the 26. You can see it goes on Hamilton and Nevada through here. The 28 is very similar. It goes through Hamilton and Nevada, except it just keeps on going straight. But what happens here is that it's because it follows the 26 travels through here. If the 26 leaves 15 minutes before the 28 bus, you're going to have 15-minute frequency along Hamilton and some parts of Nevada. And it continues on Nevada to connect with other buses like the like the 33, the 27, and the 26, or yeah, the 25, and it finishes around North Point Plaza and Whitworth University. It's probably the most efficient bus to Whitworth, and it happens to travel through basically all of the college areas like Gonzaga University, WSU, EW, Whitworth, and all of that stuff. Everything except SCC, and which is kind of near in the area. Now we'll go back to the 27, the diagonal bus, except kind of. It kind of goes right then left. Right. It takes a right, then a left, then a right, then a left, and all of that stuff. This is probably the hardest bus to explore / deal with because of the many turns. It has 30-minute frequency. And this bus is kind of weird because it's almost similar to a connecting bus because it goes east and west, kind of like the 33. It's a little weird. It travels through mainly residential areas but connects schools, community centers, shopping centers, and the arena together. You can see it passes by the arena, it passes by North Central High School. Then you get lots of residential areas. They're building an apartment complex nearby. There's Northeast Community Center, Shaw Middle School, another youth center, and then it's going to travel on Francis, which has many shops. And Crestline Rowan also has many residential areas. So yeah, this one goes through this one supports the east side of the north side, or the Hilliard area. So like along here is on Market, and the other one, Haven. Market and Haven, there's going to be a lot of antique shops, which is cool to check out. 29, this is the weird bus. 30-minute frequency bus allows students to go from downtown to SEC and other colleges like WSU and EW, and that's because it travels through the University District right here, WSU and EWU. It's going to go to Union Gospel Mission. This one's weird because it goes on MLK Junior Way, or Trent, which is riddled with industrial areas, but as soon as it takes a left on Napa, it's going to be mostly residential, and then it's going to take a right on Mission with commercial buildings and Chief Gary Park. This is an access bus as it has to go through the University District to connect other buses. So if you want to go to SCC and visit maybe a friend at WSU or EWU, you can. Or you can go to downtown from SCC. And this provides support from southeast neighborhoods in the north side. So like southern part of the north side, kind of bordering the South Hill. 39, this is the weird better than the 29 bus. This is a 30-minute frequency bus. It travels on Washington with lots of commercial buildings. This is the Washington area what I'm talking about. You can see the convention center, Spokane area, North Central High School, all of that. It also travels through Riverfront Park. That's a cool view. And then it takes a right on Mission with a mix of residential and commercial. You got Safeway along right here. You got a few schools, a Vista, Mission Park, other parks. But wait, there's more. As you can see up here, it goes along here and supports the southeast north side neighborhood north of SCC. It's a mobility bus to SCC, but then it turns into an access bus because, it travels through this neighborhood, I guess, to allow them to go to SCC, which allows them to go anywhere in Spokane. Now, the 124, this is the efficiency bus, high frequency, low occurring bus. It travels on Monroe/Wall all the way to Hastings Park and Ride. Now, the 25, I think I forgot to mention this, but the 25 goes on Division. It travels from the plaza all the way up here, and it goes to Hastings Park and Ride. And remember what I said? It's extremely consistently late, it's also just slower because lots of people are stopping on it. So what if you want to go to Meade High School or Wandermere or Whitworth? You can just take the 124, and no one's going to ride it because it's going to go on Monroe, and also because these S's right here are stops, meaning that they have limited stops around the north side, which means that less stops means less time of slowing down and accelerating again. And this is the most efficient bus offered by STA in my opinion. And that's all to say, the North Express. And also, this is a low occurring bus. What I mean by that, it only happens on the weekends. Happens on the weekdays, not on the weekends. And it does not offer service in the midday. It only offers service in the mornings and evenings, probably for workers to get around town, like get off work and then go home. Now, South Hill routes. Now, this is the insignificant portion. You can see, compared to the north side, you can see that the north side had much more numbers along here, but now the South Hill only has 7 numbers. Remember, we've already covered the 4, which travels along Grand 29th and Regal, and then this dagger means that the 34 is a connecting route. 34, this is the going to the valley kind of bus. This connects South Hill students over to SEC. It starts at South Hill Park and Ride, goes to Lincoln Heights Shopping Center, and then it goes down Freya mainly residential. Then it goes along, and then after you get down the hill, then you can pass by Fred Meyer if you want to, and then you get to SEC. That's basically it. It allows people, and a great thing about this is that it allows people to avoid downtown to go to the Valley or Northside. And what I mean by that is, if you want, you can take the 34, and then you can take the 33, which takes you to Northtown Mall. So if you want to avoid downtown for some reason, you can take this to SEC and then take the 33 to get to anywhere downtown. You can also go to the Valley. A major thing is to connect to the Valley bus, like the 90 or the 94. You can, for example, you can get off at Freya and Sprague using the 34 right about here, then walk to the 90 bus stop and then go to the Valley without having to deal with the downtown area. And again, this is an access bus, definitely, as it goes through many residential commercial areas and allows for connecting routes. Like you can see, it goes through the 90, the 94, the 32. You can get off and just hop on another bus without having to go to downtown. 42, this is the Depression bus, and I'll explain why. It goes through major health centers on the South Hill. So it goes through here, it goes through Lewis and Clark, Deaconess, Shriners, Ronald McDonald House, and then it goes through apartments around here. It also goes through Huckleberries. Now here's why it's the Depression bus. Road conditions are absolutely terrible, so it's going to be extremely bumpy around here. Number 2, if I ever want to ride this bus, I come 2 minutes after this bus departs, so I never get to ride it to go to Huckleberries. And number 3, you might be a patient who's riding this to visit family at the hospital, so that stinks. Or you might be going to the hospital yourself. Number 4, if you're a doctor riding the bus and you might be thinking, I'm saving the environment, then just buy a Tesla instead. And you're riding in a doctor riding this, but not being able to afford a Tesla is depressing. And also another depressing fact is that this bus will be killed by 2022 due to low ridership. So that's pretty fun. The 43, this is the best bus. You know why? Because it goes through my neighborhood. I'm just kidding. It's actually the Friendly South Hill neighborhood bus. I have cameras blocking it, so there, Friendly South Hill neighborhood bus. This is a low frequency bus, or 30-minute frequency a day, and it goes up the South Hill on Maple and down on Walnut, and it goes near Brown's Addition. Passes by Amens and Rose Hours along 14th Avenue, right about here. Continues up Lincoln with mainly passing residential areas, passes Comstock Park, goes through 37th through nearby schools like Sac, Hamblin, Ferris High School, goes through Lincoln's Heights Shopping Center, and it's usually pretty quiet. I get on about here, about 37th Pittsburgh. The fun thing about this is that from downtown, I bet you that 80% of the people will definitely be off the bus before 29th and Bernard. That's 29th and Bernard. Usually half the people are bus, and then you just have me riding to 37th and Pittsburgh. This is the 45, the local business bus. This is a medium frequency bus, and what I mean by that is, for some reason, STA has decided that at one point it has low frequency at 30 minutes, but at midday it has 15-minute frequency at about 3 o'clock on weekdays, which is ridiculous. You should obviously be putting it on the 43. I'm joking. But anyways, turns out Goodwill is a major destination. You can see Goodwill here, it's pointed out. And it goes through the Perry District, and that's pretty much it. It's Perry District has little local businesses, and that's really all. This bus, fun fact, this bus used to have a way better purpose. It used to travel on Regal, one of the major roads of the South Hill, but now it doesn't, so now it's the 45. It only travels to the Perry District, and it's probably one of the weirdest bus routes, and it doesn't deserve 15-minute frequency. Now, the 144 speeding to the countryside. Remember the 100s? This is this is a low occurring bus with high frequency. And so low occurring doesn't happen on the weekends, and it doesn't offer service during the midday, but it has high frequency, 15 minutes in the mornings, 15 minutes in the evenings. It goes up the hill through Stevens and Bernard, passes through LC and Manitou, goes through Manitou Shopping Center, passes near the golf course for some reason, but with no stops. Don't know why. Goes through 57th, ends at Moran Station, and it also is right here. You can see the 43 bus route travels through here, and then the 4 bus route travels through here, but this gap of 29th isn't served. Well, this 144 serves that gap. This bus is kind of weird. They should put a stop here near Rocket Market. I feel like that'd be nice of them. But this is probably, I don't think anybody rides some Moran Station Park and Ride. There's a few apartment complexes nearby, but that's really it. But yeah, this is probably one of the fastest ways to get around, but only if you live near these areas. I don't live there near that close, so I don't ride it. Now, on to West Plains routes. So you got the 60, the 61 asterisk because it's a big boy route and we've already covered it. 62, 63, 633, you got a dagger to represent that it's a shuttle. 64, 66, 67, and 68. Remember, the 60 is West Plains. 60, this is called the Let's Get It Out of Here bus. This is 30-minute frequency. It has a very similar route to the 61 as it provides 15-minute frequency along Brown's Addition, it's Audition and Sunset Highway. And right here, this is right here, that is also traveled by the 61. So if the 61 departs 15 minutes earlier than the 60, like at 2:30, then we're going to get 15-minute frequency along these roads. Instead of going to Airway Heights like the 61, the 60 goes to Spokane International Airport. However, it will sometimes go to the casino, but only on the weekends, because TGIF, the weekend, oh my gosh, yes, so you can gamble on the weekend, I guess, by taking the 60 bus. This is also a pretty direct route to the airport, making it a mobility bus, but still an access bus because of Brown's Addition. It goes through that neighborhood. If you really wanted to, you can just, a benefit of this is that by combining these routes, you can, or like combining support from Airway Heights and Brown's Addition. If you live near Brown's Addition, you can just take the bus and go downtown. So that's a benefit of having it go through Brown's Addition. This is the 62. This is, I guess we include the Medical Lake bus. This is 1 hour frequency bus. The first one to do that does not go to downtown and instead connects the West Plains Transit Center. That's in the middle, about the middle of I-90, connecting Airway Heights, Cheney, and Medical Lake. So West Plains to Medical Lake is this bus, and this one goes from West Plains to Medical Lake on major roads, and it connects the hospitals, high schools, and neighborhood and commercial areas, I think. Fun fact, it circles around the lake. It's an access bus as it is extremely infrequent, and good luck getting to downtown through this way because it's an hour frequency, and I haven't checked how you're going to connect to downtown. Also, this is a pretty weird map. 63, Gonna Work Then Fly bus. This is another hour frequency bus. This one connects West Plains Transit Center, and it connects with the 60 through the airport. So the 63 goes along I-90, then it goes takes an exit to the airport. It goes by fun buildings like post office, waste cancer. Oh, and a really fun building, jail. And it supports Highway 2 right here on Airway Heights. So if you want to get from Medical Lake, you can go to West Plains Transit Center, and you can go shopping in Airway Heights for some reason. This bus also has the world's most confusing schedule. This is the online version, and it's terrible. I hate it. They decided 633 is bolded for some reason in gray text. It feels like I'm like, you know how you copy and paste something and you have the highlight? This feels like it, except I'm not doing anything. So it's really weird. Worst, it's just so confusing. Just look at it. Do you understand this? It's going to take a while to understand. They should clearly separate it. The 633, this is the Amazon bus. It occurs whenever it wants. It has a set in the morning, like, for example, it might go at 7, 7:15, 7:30, and that's it. Afternoon and evening sets. And it made so workers could use public transit to go to a major employer. So anyone could take a bus to the West Plains Transit Center and then take a bus to Amazon Fulfillment. For some reason, it goes along these roads, but there's no bus stops along it. There's only one bus stop right here, and then it goes along here for some reason. What? This is the 6466, the Everything bus. This is mostly an hour frequency bus, and its purpose is to connect students from Spokane to EWU. It goes to K Street Station, so it passes by more of Cheney. What I mean by K Station is right here. It goes south of Cheney, and that's about when city bounds are end. Less houses over there. And it goes through residential neighborhoods, schools, and some shops. So this is the 64. The 66, combined with the 64, it provides 64-minute frequency. The 66 is a similar bus route to the 64. It combined with it, it provides 15-minute frequency. So you can see along here, they basically, the 64 and the 64, the really green one is 66, the gray line is 64. So combined, if the 64 ends 15 minutes earlier, then it's going to provide 15-minute frequency along these roads. And the 66 ends at EW, therefore more of a mobility bus, because this one, the 66 is more designed for students to use rather than the 64, which is for all of Cheney to use. 67, 68, this is the Cheney bus system. It goes around the main roads of Cheney. It's a loop, so once it gets to the end of the line, it waits and then goes again. The 67, it's for EWU students to go to Safeway up there, up north, apartments like here, and restaurants. Around here, you got a bunch of restaurants right here. The 68, it connects the Cheney school system together with commercial and residential areas. Goes in different locations, different directions during school year, which more options. What I mean by that is you can see the 67 only goes in one way. It goes up First Avenue northward, while the 68 goes down First Avenue, First Street southbound. So, but the thing is that the 67 only operates during the school year. So sometimes the 68 will only go down. So if you live right here and need to get up here, then it's going to be extremely inefficient because you're going to have to ride the bus all along right here, because the 67 is not available during the school year. These are definitely access bus routes to access everything along Cheney. Now, on to Valley routes. 32 is a connecting route. Dagger. 74, you got the 90. We already talked about that. That was the Sprague bus route. You got the 94, the 95, the 96, the 97, the 98, the 172, the 173, and the 190. Remember, 90s and 70s are associated with a valley. 32, this is the Let's Go to the Valley bus. This is a 30-minute frequency bus, and it travels on Trent and Montgomery. I don't think it has very special needs, but the only reason why it exists is because it travels along a road that has many industrial buildings and some commercial on Montgomery and Manfield right about here, I think. And it also connects the Millwood residential area. So say if you live around here or Millwood, you can take a bus stop right here and you can go to the Northside or you can go to the Valley. And a major purpose is to allow SCC students right here to go to the Valley or the Millwood area if they want to visit somebody right here, or SCC could travel to the Miraboo Park and Ride, which is close to the Valley Mall. This is an access bus and also a very long bus route. Like, I didn't expect it to be super long, and that's because the I-90, it basically travels the path of the I-90, but it's on a slower road, therefore it's much longer. This is the 94, the South Hill and Valley bus. It has 30-minute frequency and goes through a lot of major areas. This bus multitasks a lot. It's south of Sprague neighborhoods, including the Fred Meyer area. So this is Sprague Avenue right here that the 90 goes on. The 94 goes south of it and basically goes east, but south of Sprague. So it supports this neighborhood, kind of on the South Hill, kind of not. And it also supports the Fred Meyer area along Freya and Thor. And then it continues along it continues on 5th Avenue along here, and then it goes to 8th Avenue along here, supporting neighborhoods south of the Valley, and then it takes a left onto Park, and it crosses Sprague, and as soon as you get to this area, it becomes industrial buildings, and then it takes a right on Broadway, which is residential areas, and then you can take a left on, I think, Mullen, which has lots of commercial buildings along that. And you can see Argonne Village Shopping Center is a major shopping center. Like, I forgot how big it is. It has Yolks, I think, Natural Market, whatever. And it also goes to the north part of the route, connects Millwood to downtown. So if you live along here in Millwood, there's actually a lot of residential areas around here, lots of houses along here. So if you live along here, you can take this bus and you have a way to get to downtown, which is pretty cool. This is the 95. This is again another multitasking bus. It does everything. It's a 30-minute frequency bus, and it's another type of bus that goes through major shopping centers, hospitals, schools, and residential areas. Just go over everything. You got University Shopping Center. You got Rose Hours Winco right there. You got Spokane Valley Plaza. You got a Walmart. You got Burlington's. You got Michael's. All of that stuff. You got. And then over here, you got the Valley Mall. That's a lot of stuff to do over there. And you got the Indiana Shopping Center. You got Best Buy over there. You got Oxford Sweets. You got a Krispy Kreme, most important, the only franchise donut area in Spokane. And basically, this one connects the valley through Broadway in Indiana. And Indiana is with many new apartments and neighborhoods, which is a gold mine for STA. And also along through here, guess what? Along the Valley Mall, the 96 and the 97 travel through the Valley Mall, so it's going to provide high frequency along there. This is also the best way from Miraboo from VTC, which creates many opportunities. So, for example, if you go to the Valley Transit Center, if you live along here, you can go to Miraboo Park and Ride. So if you go, remember the 32 bus that goes from SCC to Miraboo Park and Ride? Well, you can transfer over at Miraboo Park and ride the 95 and go anywhere along the valley. And yeah, that is the 95. 96, this is the going up north bus. This has 30-minute frequency, travels through neighborhoods. I'm talking about right here, University 16th Avenue, then takes a left on Pines. It connects houses to industrial areas across river and East Valley schools. So if you live along here and have to work over here at an industrial area, well, you can take this bus and go to the industrial park. Also, if you live in here and you're somehow enrolled at East Valley Middle School or East Valley High School, you can take this bus and you can get to East Valley. Or if you live along the East Valley area, then you can take this bus and go to anywhere in Spokane as it connects to the Valley Transit Center. This one goes on Pines and passes by the Valley Mall, and you can transfer and go to Miraboo Park and Ride. It also passes by Sprague, which has a Opportunity Shopping Center, I think is what it's called. Or Opportunity is the area with a bunch of shopping centers. And then it's an access bus as it passes by lots of neighborhoods and lots of shopping areas. 97, this is the school bus. Oh, wait. Okay. 30-minute frequency bus. It travels... What a surprise. It travels through neighborhoods until Sullivan. And this is University Road. It goes all the way to 32nd, which is pretty south, and it supports that southern area of the valley. So it goes through University. This is all neighborhoods, still neighborhoods, University High School, neighborhoods, Evergreen Middle School, neighborhoods, Central Valley. As soon as you pass Central Valley, you're on Sullivan. And then you got a major shopping center. You got Sprague right here, lots of shops. And then you got 95. Broadway and Sullivan, lots of shopping centers over there. And it also connects schools together. So if you have to go to high school, middle school, or high school at the same time, you can do this. This is an access bus. If you want to get to the VTC to Miraboo Park and Ride, you should ride the 95. It's going to be shorter, but 97 is because the 97 is slower. The 98, this is the Sprague bus continued. The 90, remember, travels from downtown to the VTC via Sprague. The 98 travels from VTC to Liberty Lake Park and Ride via Sprague. So it continues the 90 basically. This is a 30-minute frequency bus, continues on Sprague after University. Sprague is riddled with commercial buildings. Eventually, Sprague becomes Appleway, where there's more industrial buildings and gas stations. Goes on Barker Road to go north of I-90. So this is Barker Road. It goes north, takes a left on Barker. And over here, along here, is residential neighborhoods and apartments. Then it ends at Liberty Lake. And this is the only bus to get to the VTC on weekends. So if you live near Liberty Lake and have to get to the VTC, this is the only hope because this is the only bus offered on the weekend. On the weekdays, not weekends. And also, if you want to go to a shopping center on Sprague, then you can take any bus to the Valley Transit Center, ride the 98, and then get to wherever you want. Therefore, it's an access bus. Okay, the 74 and 172. This is called the We Can't Make It to Coeur d'Alene bus. This is a 30-minute frequency bus. Usually the 74 travels on the highway to get to the Valley Mall as soon as possible. This is the fastest way because it goes directly onto the highway from downtown. It goes on the highway, travels along I-90, gets off to go to Miraboo Park and Ride, and kind of connects to the Valley Mall. Then it goes back on I-90 to get to Liberty Park and Ride. So after going to the Valley Mall right here, it goes to Liberty Park and Ride via I-90. The 172 is a variation of the 74 bus as it circles the technology campus, which is basically Comcast. This is the green right here is the way that 172 goes. So it circles that so people could get to work. And these Mobility Express buses are sadly only operative on weekdays. So that's why 98 is the only reason you can get to Liberty Lake. And also, again, another express bus that only happens on the weekdays. I mean weekends. No, only happens on the weekdays, doesn't happen on the weekends. The 173, the 190. This is called the guys. We fixed the 90 bus. The 173 and the 190 are low occurring buses. So that means they only happen maybe once an hour, I think. And the 190 tracks the same route as the 90 bus. What happens is that the 190 goes on the freeway, and then it takes the Appleway exit to go on Appleway, and then it travels through the 90, and that's only to connect to Mullen or Argonne. So if you need to get around there, you can take the 190, and that's the fastest way to get there. 173 it takes the highway, and then it gets off near Mission Avenue around that exit, and then it takes a right on, travels on Mission, then takes a right on University and gets to the VTC. So remember, since the 90 travels on Sprague, it's going to have lots of people pulling the cord and stopping at different locations. Well, these buses are a solution because they are the fastest way to get to the Valley Transit Center by riding the 173. And so that's why it's a no mobility bus, except on the weekends, because again, these are only offered at weekdays. Okay, extra routes. A few more to go. This is the 662, the 663, the 664. Remember, 60s or 6s are mostly associated with West Plains, so therefore these are West Plains routes. This is Let's Go Eagles bus. Students can take a residential bus to a hub, then can hop on an EW shuttle and go to school. An alternate to going downtown on the 66 and the 64, and this is a mobility bus, and that is all. You can see right here. If you live on the South Hill, you can go to South Hill Park and Ride. You can get a ride by a friend or whatever, bike over to there, and then take the 664 or 664. If you live in the Valley Transit Center, you can take the 663. If you live on the north side, you can go to Hastings or 5 Mile and go to Jefferson Park and Ride. All of them connect through there. And then they all go through I-90 and then go to this highway, and then it all goes to EWU. So these are all the express buses that go, and I think these are only offered during school years. So yeah, we covered all of the bus routes. Now phase 3, my favorite phase. These are bus hubs, STA Plaza, bus loops. My bus loops is my favorite part, but here we go. Spokane Community College Transit Center. This is a major transit center STA considers. It has routes 29, 39, 32, 30. Oh, I forgot the 33. It has routes 29, 39, 32, 33, 34. So lots of connecting routes. It's right next to Spokane Community College. It has lots of potential, foreshadowing, and the major hub on the north side. This is 5 Mile Park and Ride, routes 4, 22, 27, 662. It's a small bus area. You can see that there isn't with SCC. There's a major area for buses to park right here. This is all you have for the buses to park and let passengers off. It's a small bus area, but works. It's in a nice shopping area with restaurants like Taco Bell and grocery stores, and it's near major roads like Francis, Maple, and Ash. This is Hastings Park and Ride, and the major purpose for this to exist is for Route 25. Lots of parking space. This is Route 25. You can see these accordion buses or articulated, and this also serves routes 124, 662. It's a smaller hub, but again significant because of the 25. And also, if you live in the Wandermere area, then you could park here or bike here and then take the 25 bus to downtown. And it's near Division and Hastings. Those are the two major roads. 124, the Route 124 also has park and ride areas. This is Fairwood Park and Ride. This is Country Homes Park and Ride. You can park and then ride the bus. Fairwood Park and Ride is near a shopping center. Country Homes is near a church and is on Wall Street. Both are very north and are only supported by 24. Both are very insignificant. And another Northside hub while we're here is the Arena for routes 11, 27, 39, but is also insignificant. It's on Boone and Howard, I think. South Hill Park and Ride. This is the bay here where buses go. This is where you can park. It supports routes 4, 34, 43, 45, and 664. It's near 29th and Regal. Those are the two only major roads of South Hill. This is not considered a hub, but it is the only significant station on South Hill. Moran Station Park and Ride is way further south. This is the area where buses can go in. It has routes 4 and 144 near Regal and 57th. It's near some apartments, but that's about all. I've never been to this station, sadly. Other people probably haven't either, because only a few people live around the area, and I'm not sure how many people use the bus station here, because remember, it's the South Hill. West Plains Transit Center. Now we're in the West Plains area. It supports routes 62, 63, and I think I meant to put 64 or 66. It travels along I-90. It's along I-90, and it gives access to Medical Lake, Cheney Airport, Amazon, and Airway Heights. It's another major transit center that STA considers to be important. This is the Cheney K Street station for routes 64, 67, and 68. It's for the Cheney area. It's around residential buildings and some stores along First Street. Other stations in West Plains include Jefferson Park and Ride. The 43 kind of passes by near there. That's why there's an asterisk. 64, 66, and 664. And 662 and the 663. Then there's Medical Lake Transit Center, which is 62. That's in Medical Lake. Airway Heights Park and Ride, 61, which surprisingly is actually in Cheney. No, it's in Airway Heights Park and Ride. Okay, Valley Transit Center. This is the last major hub that STA considers to be important. It's routes 32, 90, 95, 96, 97, 98, 173, and 190. It's on University and close to Sprague, Appleway, and Appleway. Remember, Sprague is a very important road of Spokane. STA considers it a transit hub, and it's really outdated architecture. You'll have to check it out, but it's really big. 10 bays for buses to go to. This is Miraboo Park and Ride, routes 32, 74, 95, 97, along Indiana, which is close to the Valley Mall, and it provides a hub area to support Millwood. What I'm talking about is 32. If somebody lives in Millwood, then they can take the bus to Miraboo. Liberty Lake Park and Ride is really far east, routes 74, 98, 172. It's on Mission Avenue near a major shopping center like Safeway, I think, is nearby, and Albertsons. And it's near the Comcast or Technology campus and residential area, so people could park and ride the bus to Spokane or the Valley Transit Center. Now, the STA Plaza. This is the hub of every single bus route except connecting routes. It is designed brilliantly. It's located on Riverside, which goes eastbound, so you can see Riverside here. It goes to the east. You got Sprague, which goes westbound. It goes to the west. Routes arrive on one side and routes depart on another side. Now, what happens? So, real quickly to explain. So, let's say you're riding the 20. The 20 departs on Sprague Avenue. But guess what? If the 20 wants to get back, since it came from that way and it needs to get back, you can't go like this. It can't go to the right. It has to go to the right on Riverside, which means that the 20 goes through here and it departs right here on Riverside Avenue into boards right about here. So the 20 is going to depart from on West Sprague Avenue, and then it's going to come back at West Riverside Avenue. And the fun thing is that you can, once you get off the bus, so say you go on the 20 and say you go on the 20 and that was actually an accident and you need to get back. You take the 20 back to the plaza. Oh, wait, no. Say you're riding the 20 back to the plaza. You didn't mean to do that. You actually need to go back to SFCC with the 20. You arrive on Riverside Avenue. Well, all you need to do is just cross through the plaza and then go to the other side. And then another 20 bus will be on the other side ready to depart most of the time, I think. So if you need to, say if you left your house and you go to the plaza and need to grab something, well, just get off your bus at the plaza, go walk to the other side, and you'll board your other bus. And because they have to get on the other side, STA is designed, the plaza is designed with interlining in mind. So, to explain interlining, let's just introduce bus loops. So after a bus is finished with a route or reaches their destination, it can, number 1, stay as the same route and continue back. Or number 2, change to a different route and go to another location. Option number 2 is called interlining. A bus will either stay on the same route or go through different routes and repeat. An example is the number 11 shuttle. Once it reaches its destination, it stays as the number 11 shuttle. But with option number 2, when the bus 43 reaches its destination, it changes to another number. For this case, it changes to number 29. And then the 29, once it reaches its destination, it changes to number 34. That is what is called interlining. It changes routes. I actually asked what interlining was, and I got a response pretty quickly. It says, "Good morning. Routes to begin as one route and change to another, typically at the plaza, are known as interlines. Routes may interline for a number of reasons. Interlines provide more utility to the rider, which is the case with Route 43. The trip begins on the South Hill, but then continues to the north side of Spokane and out to SCC, so a customer can reach multiple destinations without having to change buses. Interlining of routes also improves service reliability and helps ensure adequate recovery time for schedule reliability and for our operators." Sincerely, Peggy. Don't know how to say the last name. Sorry. McManus, I'm going to say. Peggy, thank you. Here we go. Bus loops that do not interline. Okay, so the 4 starts from Moran Station and goes all the way to the north side. Once it gets to the north side, it stays as the 4. The bus route 4 never interlines. And that's basically to keep passenger confusion to a minimum, because interlining is kind of confusing, kind of terrifying. Example, the north side bus number 4 used to be called the 24th, and the South Hill number 4 used to be the 44. So when it got to downtown, the 44 probably interlined to the 24, and people got confused. So the STA just said, okay, we're going to name a crosstown route. It's just going to be 4. It's going to stay as the 4 as it gets to the plaza. 25, simple. Once the 25 leaves the plaza, it goes to Hastings Park and Ride, and then it stays as the 25 and returns back to the plaza. And then with the ellipses, it can go again. So 25 to the 25, and then then once we're back at downtown, the cycle repeats. 61, same thing. It goes downtown to Airway Heights, and then so downtown to Airway Heights, and then Airway Heights to downtown, and cycle repeats. The 11 and 12, these shuttles also do not interline, so they go to their destination, come back, and the cycle repeats. 67 and 68, since they're loops, they automatically do not interline. And 63, again, it's the loop. And also a fun thing is that on the morning schedule, eventually, once the morning set of bus loops is done, it will go back to the bus will go back to the STA. Once the evening loops are done, it will interline into 64 to go back to the STA. Fun fact. Okay, now we're going to cover bus loops that do interline. This is part of my poorly designed slides, but these are the best I could do. Anyways, so 90. So 90 is going to start at the plaza. It's going to go to the VTC. Then at the VTC, it's going to go back to the plaza. So 90 to the 90. Now, the 90 at the plaza is now going to interline to the 21. So once the 90 reaches the plaza, it's going to change into the 21. The 21 is going to go up to West Community Central Center. Then it's going to stay as the 21 and come back. And then it's going to go back to the plaza. And then it's going to go back to the 90. So 90, 90, 21, 21, 90, 90, 21, 21. You can also read this backwards. You can say 21. Okay, 21 goes downtown to West Community Central Center. West Central Community Center. And then it comes back downtown. And then it's going to change to the 90, which is going to go to the VTC and return back to the plaza, and same thing occurs. Another bus route. This is really cool. So also, this is the 90 and the 90, 21, 21 are high frequency 50-minute. Now this one's kind of weird. Now the 20 and 33 are high frequency routes. They operate over 50 minutes apiece. Now, we've already covered all 6 high-frequency routes, the 20, the 21, the 33, the 4, the 25, and, really 4, the 20, the 21, the 25, the 33, and, the 90. There we go. Those are the 6 routes. So the 20 and 33 are the last 2 of the 6 high-frequency routes. Now, where are we going to get high-frequency buses from? We're going to get it from the 26 and the 28. Remember how along Nevada and Hamilton, it's 15-minute frequency because of how STA is scheduled? Well, guess what? When they're going to come back to the plaza, it's going to turn to the 20. The 28 is going to turn into the 20. And then 15 minutes later, when the 26 reaches the plaza, it's then going to turn to another 20 bus. So it's going to provide 15-minute frequency for the 20 and the 33. So how it goes is... Okay, so let's say we're doing the 28. So the 28 is going to go from the plaza to Whitworth. Then the 28 is going to be, again, the 28 is going to go to Whitworth to the plaza. And then after that, it's going to interline to the 20. The 20 is going to go to SFCC. And then it's going to change to the 33, or interline to the 33, which is going to go to SCC. And then we can read this backwards. The 33 is going to go from SFCC. Then it's going to interline to the 20, which is going to go to the plaza. And then it's going to go to the, let's just say the 26. It's going to go from the plaza to North Point Shopping Center. Then it's going to turn back to the plaza, and cycle repeats. So that is probably one of my favorite bus loops out there. This is the 22 to the 27, basically the west-east bus loop of the north side. The 22 is going to go from the plaza to 5 Mile Plaza, and then it's going to interline to the 27, which is going to go back to the plaza. You can see it kind of forms like a circle around the north side, which is pretty cool. Okay, this is a little more confusing. The 23, 94, 94, 45, 45. The 23 is going to go, we're going to start with the 23 for now. The plaza, it's going to start from the plaza. It's going to go to Indian Trail, and then it's going to return back to the plaza. Then it's going to interline to the 94. It's going to start at the plaza. It's going to go to Millwood, and then it's going to return back to the plaza. And then at the plaza, the 45, it's going to interline to the 45, which is going to go to the South Hill parking lot, which is going to return back to the plaza. And that is the bus loop. I don't know the percentage. STA argues that interlining is convenient for the passenger, although I'm not sure of the percentage of passengers who's going to live in Indian Trail who wants to go to Millwood, but I guess there's a bus loop for you. Okay, the 29, the 34, and the 43. The 29 starts at the plaza, it goes to SCC, but the fun thing is that it does not return back to the plaza. Instead, it's going to interline to the 34. 34, so remember the 29 from the plaza to SCC. Now the 34 from SCC is going to go to South Hill parking ride, and then 34 is going to change to the 43. So, and then it's going to turn to the 43, and it's going to go back downtown, and the loop continues. So 29 to SCC, and then 34 SCC to South Hill parking ride, and 43 South Hill parking ride to downtown, and the loop continues. It also goes the other way too. 34 Plaza to the South Hill parking ride, 43 to the Plaza to the South Hill parking ride, 34 from the South Hill parking ride to SCC, and then 29 SCC to the Plaza. Bus loop continues. Okay, now this one's extremely confusing because this bus loop only occurs in the morning or occasionally in the afternoon. Okay, SCC 32. 32 is going to travel from SCC to Miraboo Park and Ride. And Miraboo Park and Ride is going to change to the 97, which is going to go to the VTC. At the VTC, it's going to go to the 90. It's going to interline to the 95. It's going to go to Miraboo Park and Ride. It's going to stay as the 95 and go from Miraboo Park and Ride to the Valley Transit Center. And then at the Valley Transit Center, it's going to interline to the 97, which is going to go to Miraboo Park and Ride, which is going to interline to the 32, which is going to go from Miraboo Park and Ride to SCC. Confusing, isn't it? And then this is another bus loop that happens in the morning and occasionally in the afternoon. The 96 is going to depart from the VTC and go to East Valley Schools, and then it's going to come back to the VTC, and then it's going to interline to the 98. It's going to come from the VTC, and then it's going to go to Liberty Lake Park and Ride, and it's going to come back at the VTC, and the same thing happens again. Now here's the afternoon bus loop for the Valley buses I just explained. It's much more simpler. Too bad it's not the same all across the day. But SCC to Miraboo Park and Ride, and then it's going to interline to the 97, Miraboo Park and Ride to Valley Transit Center, and then it's going to stay the same. It's going to do Valley Transit Center to Miraboo Park and Ride, and then it's going to interline to the 32 at Miraboo Park and Ride to SCC. At the afternoon, now this route got complicated because the 95 was shoved in. Now the 96, it's going to depart from Valley Transit Center to East Valley Schools. It's going to come back to the Valley Transit Center, and then it's going to interline to the 95, which is going to go to Miraboo Park and Ride, and then it's going to stay as the 95 and go back to the Valley Transit Center. And then it's going to interline to the 98, which is going to go to the Liberty Lake Park and Ride. Then it's going to come back from Liberty Lake Park and Ride to the Valley Transit Center. I don't know the percentage of people who want to visit the Valley Mall and then go to Liberty Lake Park and Ride, but here you go, interlining, I guess. Or people who want to visit the industrial park and then want to go to Broadway or something like that. Weird interlining. 39 to the 42, the 60, here we go. 39, it's going to come from the plaza, it's going to go to SCC, and then from SCC, it's going to go back downtown. Downtown, it's going to leave the plaza it's going to interline to the 42 at downtown, then it's going to leave and go to 14th and Adams, then it's going to come back from 14th and Adams to the plaza. Now it's going to interline to the 60, which is going to go from the plaza to International Airport, which is going to come back to the plaza and return back to the 39 at the interline to the 39. Okay, and then here's another West Plains bus route. 62. It's gonna start at West Plains Transit Center. It's gonna go to Medical Lake. At Lake, it's gonna be at stop number 7. Then it's gonna come back to the West Plains Transit Center. Then it's gonna change to the 63 from West Plains Transit Center to Airway Heights, and it's gonna return back from Airway Heights to West Plains Transit Center and repeats. The asterisk 64 means that sometimes the 62 becomes the 64, and the 64 from West Plains Transit Center goes to downtown. So sometimes the 62 interlines to the 64 for schedule reasons. This one's a little weird. 64, 66. Now the 64 is going to start downtown, and it's going to go, it's interchangeable in this case. Sometimes it's the 64 and sometimes it's the 66. The 64 is going to travel from downtown to Cheney, then it's going to return back, and then it's going to interline most of the time to the 66. Sometimes it does something different. This is the express bus loop. This one's fun. It's going to start from the plaza, and it's going to go to the north side as the 124. Then it's going to return back to the plaza, and it's going to interline as the 144. It's going to go from the plaza to the Moran Station Park and Ride. Then it's going to return back to the plaza and interline as the 124. This is another weird one. It's going to start, the 74 or 172 is going to start at the plaza. It's going to go to Liberty Lake Park and Ride right here. And then, or right here, and then it's going to return back to the plaza, and it's probably going to be the 74. This is 173, 190 bus loop. The 173 is going to, or 190 is going to come from the plaza, go to the Valley Transit Center, and then it's going to return back, and then it's a wild card, because who knows what it's going to interline as. It's completely random. It can either become the 173 or the 190. I'm just too stupid to understand how STA has decided their interlining strategy. Now, Phase 4, final phase, the future of STA and conclusion. Changes upcoming September 19th. Eventually this presentation is going to be extremely outdated, but here's a few changes. Mostly it's quick schedule changes of little importance, but the major thing is that STA is going to kill the 64, which is the bus that goes from downtown to Cheney, around there, to K Street Station or whatever. STA is introducing another new crosstown route. This is new bus route number 6 and a new bus route number 661. Number 6, this is a new bus route that will be starting Sunday, September 19th. It's called We Are Rebranding Our Image Bus. This one is, it replaces the 64. The 64 used to travel from downtown, again, all the way here to K Street Station. Now the 6 is going to do the same exact thing, but instead it's going to start from WSU or the /EW or the University District. So it's going to allow for WSU or EWU students to go all the way to Cheney. So that means that they do not have to get off a bus. This one also creates the 15-minute frequency with the 66, like the 64. And also, I think it's rebranded probably as a promotion for crosstown routes. But yeah, that's basically it. It's just rerouted to support the University District and nothing different. Hopefully the schedule changed a lot to be less confusing. No, it did not. Not at all. The world's new most confusing schedule. It accounts for the 6, the 66, and the 661. It's a confusing mess. You should look it up yourself. You probably can't tell from here. But it looks confusing. 661, the More Options bus. It starts at Jefferson Park and Ride, and it provides more options for the customer, as anyone can take the 43 or drive to Jefferson Park and Ride, and that's it. So it starts from Jefferson Park and Ride, and it goes to EWU. That's all. Just more options, I guess. Now, they're going to revise the system even more in 2022. STA is going to change a lot. The goal is to conserve resources, and that's it. Say, for example, if a bus is being wasted, say there's not enough passengers riding it, then let's just reroute that bus to go somewhere else where more passengers are going to ride it. Therefore, our resources are better used. So, new service revisions will be based on 2 reasons. Reason number 1, it's because of the city line. Reason number 2, it's because of reallocation of resources. So, what is the city line? It is Bus Rapid Transit, aka BRT. Why does Bus Rapid Transit exist? Well, think of New York City. New York City, when I think of public transit over there, it's subways or I think subways. But anywhere else, you can also think of trains. But subways are all underground, and they provide high frequency service, and it's much more simpler because number 1, I think it's cliche, but it might be true. I've never been, but there's going to be lots of traffic on New York because of the overabundance of cars. But under the tunnel, subways have no traffic, therefore it's going to go much more faster. You don't have to worry about detours like snow. You don't have to worry about construction most of the time. Subways are direct. That's the main benefit of having subways. The only problem is that subways are down in tunnels, which are expensive. Now, does Spokane have an infrastructure system or whatever it is to support tunnels or subways? No, they don't. Do they have a support system? Do they have money to do trains? No, they don't. Another solution instead of subways is light rail / bus trolley, but it's still expensive. The one in Portland, they have a trolley. I think they have a trolley. I think they have light rail over there, not a bus trolley, but it's still more expensive. Spokane is not cheap, is too cheap to do that. So buses are cheaper, and instead will be used, which is the City Line. So, and also more about BRT or bus rapid transit. Here are the three main things that a bus rapid transit system needs for it to be a bus rapid transit system. Number one, it has to have high frequency. The City Line is proposed to have 7.5 minute frequency at peak hours. So that's going to be highest frequency. That's insane, to the point where you'll no longer have to check schedules. Number two, stations. City Line will have nice stations, sometimes in the center of the road, sometimes on the side. Now, with trains or subway stations, you're forced to build stations because it's going to have a place to stop. It's going to need a place to stop, which means it needs a station. With BRT, since it's kind of recreating light rail, but in a cheaper fashion with buses, it's going to have nicer stations. And stations will have different features depending on the location. Like some stations in higher used areas will probably have more features than stations that have less importance will probably have less features. And those features hopefully all stations should have wheelchair access, so they don't have to unload the ramp for those who are disabled and use a wheelchair. But and also hopefully all of them will have bus fare passes, bus fare stations, so you don't have to pay on board. And all of those features are so that buses at stations do not spend a bunch of time over there because they want to get going. And number three, the last essential BRT is speed advantages. And those can include, if it's in the center, then sometimes buses can get priority stoplights, so they can get a go before all of the rest of traffic. So sometimes they can be even faster than cars. Or another speed advantage is that they can get also a go on the side of the road, and they can beat the traffic ahead. And there's and other advantages like that. But the City Line has nothing stated yet, so it's going to be on the lower end of BRT. Here's some nice photos. They're really bad quality. You can see the pixels, but you can see the potential of the stations right here. You can see, the station. That could be a center station right there. What's the pros with having a center station is that you have the ability to have you don't have to have the bus go to the side or just when it has to block traffic or that sort of thing. And you can see these buses are going to be battery electric, which is much better for the environment. And here we go. This is the City Line, or our BRT bus. I think STA is going to refer to it as the CL, as abbreviated, when it clearly should be the number one bus. 10s are downtown shuttles, therefore the number one is clearly a cross-town route, so therefore it should be the one. But I guess the CL is fine, I guess. High frequency. So we're gonna go over it again. High frequency, 7.5 minute bus. It's gonna be battery powered buses. Going to have nice stations. It's gonna travel from Coeur d'Alene Park in Browns Addition. You can see right about here. It's gonna pass by the MAC, and it's gonna go to SCC. It's gonna pass by STA Plaza. It's gonna pass by Spokane Station. Who knows what that will be? Convention Center. It's gonna pass by that. So tourism. It's gonna pass by University District, WSU. It's gonna pass by Centennial Trail. It's gonna go up this road. I forgot what it's called. I forgot it. And then it's going to travel, it's going to be near Freya. That's all I know. It's going to travel past, it could be Nevada or Hamilton. I forgot. Gonzaga University, it's going to go on Mission with Chief Gary Park. It's going to support an entirely new residential area. The benefit is it's going to remove the need for other buses to exist. No one will ever have to check a schedule because of the high frequency. Students have access to every college and a lively downtown center. And it will hopefully transform downtown area to be more accessible. Now, we're going to go over the reasons changes due to the city line. Reason number 1. 60 is going to be rerouted to no longer support Browns Addition. It's going to go across, it's going to be on more on Sunset Boulevard, Sunset Highway. 61 is also going to be rerouted like the 60 to no longer support Browns Addition. The 29, which connects downtown to SCC, is going to be killed due to the city line used to travel on MLK Way. And Trent 39, which traveled on Mission, will be killed due to the city line because the city line will travel on Mission. And 20 will be shortened to alleviate bus traffic at the plaza. And it's going to instead go at Sprague and something else, like something west of the plaza. It's going to stop there. But yeah, you can see the STA is like going all out with the city line, and considering that they got like $56 million from the federal government, they're taking it seriously. Let's hope it's not a failure, and hopefully those stations will be nice, because they will probably be vandalized. Because Spokane, yeah, we're such a great city. Yeah, go Spokane, we're so good, and so hopefully they'll keep those stations so good. Now, changes due to reallocation of resources. Reason number 2. The 42 will be killed and will change to the route 14. The 22 will be shortened to end at the Veterans Hospital. The 26 will be simplified and made to cooperate with the 28. There's also going to be less support to Whitworth with both the 26 and the 28. The 27 will be significantly simplified in higher frequency. Remember, STA is pulling all of their attention to the north side because that's where the most people are. 32, simplified to travel on Mission instead. 74 will travel through University District, travel on East Mission, replacing the 98. So remember how the 98 went above the I-90, or went north of the I-90 to take a right through that residential area? Well, the 74 will now support that. The 95 will be killed and will change to the 94. The 94 is going to take all of the slack is going to take the over from 95, and it's going to travel along Broadway all the way over to where I forgot the road, but it's going to go all the way over to apartments on Indiana Avenue, and it's going to go to the Mirabeau Park and Ride instead of supporting Millwood. The 96 will no longer support 16th Avenue and just take a right on Sprague, which will have higher frequency on Sprague Avenue. And 98 will go through Appleway instead of Mission after Barker Road. So that's going to support more of that area because the 74 is going to support. The area that the 98 did. West Plains changes, and that's going to be 60 will go through the airport, then connect to West Plains Transit Center, more ridership to Amazon. And 61 will reroute. That's because more people want a way to get to Amazon. So that's why the 60 will go through the airport and then go to West Plains Transit Center so people can go to Amazon. And 61 will reroute to travel through more Airway Heights apartments. That's going to be it's going to travel more north of Highway 2. Not more north, but not on Highway 2. You'll see. 63 reroute to connect more apartments and not go through airport. So these are the new bus routes that are proposed. Here we go. And this is the final, not the final draft, but the final proposal. This is 14, a shuttle bus. It's kind of weird. This is 30-minute frequency. And it's going to, you can see that it goes on Wall. It's going to travel on 5th. It's going to go through many medical centers. And you can see just, it's essentially the 42. And then it's going to go on Martin Luther King Jr. Way, which is where the 29th, and it's going to go on Trent. It's going to go up Napa. So it's basically replacing the 42, and it's going to replace the 29th essentially to account for because the 29th is going to be killed. And it's going to connect to the city line along Mission. And I guess it's going to be a shuttle bus because STA is hoping that people will ride the city line instead of the number 14, so that's why it's going to probably be a smaller bus. Who knows where it's going to go in the plaza. 35, it's called the Making Things Simpler bus. This is 30-minute frequency. It travels through Route 22 and Route 27 areas. It connects the west and east parts of Northside, and it travels on Francis and Market and ends at Northeast Community Center. Now, the 22 used to travel to the VA Medical Center, but it used to also travel it's usually the 22 travels on VA and it continues on Rowan, G Street, and goes to 5 Mile Park and Ride. Well, STA is going to say, no, we're not doing that anymore. And instead, it's going to interline to the 35 and we'll just instead continue on Francis Avenue and end around here. and because the 27 is now going to be supporting Crestline, that area, so 35 is going to account for that new area. This is exciting because we're going to get more connecting routes, which is great because remember, this is an American transit system where it all revolves around one hub, aka the plaza. So connecting routes are great to connect the city together where you don't constantly have to go to the plaza to get to anywhere around town. 36, this is I called it the definitely creating equity among the school district bus. Here's why. I'll explain later. It's a 30-minute frequency. It connects west and east Northside. So it's going to start from SFCC, and then it's going to go through Maxwell, and it's either going to go through Mission or Indiana. STA, it should definitely go through Indiana Avenue because it's already supported by the city line, so you don't need buses going 30-minute, like at peak hours, maybe 4-minute frequency along Mission at that area. That'd be insane. But it should definitely go on Indiana to support that neighborhood more. And it's going to go on Perry. It's going to go on North Foothills Drive. It's going to go on Crestline and Garland Avenue. It's going to, and this is probably going to interline with the 35, which is going to create a new bus loop, 22, 35, 36, 36. And yeah, that's basically this bus. And why I named it the definitely creating equity among the school district bus, because this one's called North Central because it passes by North Central High School. Why don't we get like an Lewis and Clark High School bus, or why not a Ferris High School bus? This is no, very equal, like extremely equal. Okay, 38, picking up slack from 94 bus. This one is, yeah, okay. This one is basically going to make the 94 even better. This has 30-minute frequency. We'll replace the 39. You can see this is where the 39 used to be. Since the 39 is going to be killed, the 38 will account for that. It's going to support Minnehaha, I don't know, neighborhood along Frederick, like 39. This is the Minnehaha neighborhood. Minnehaha? I don't know. Completely, and it's going to have new service on Upriver Drive and support Millwood significantly more. There's a lot of houses here, so it's going to... So you might have to bike a little longer or walk a little longer, but it's definitely going to support that area much more. And it's going to go on Argonne, and it's going to go to the VTC, which is great because we never had an SEC connection to the VTC. So that's going to be really cool. It's going to connect the two major transit hubs of STA. 171, this is another bus, I guess. This is going to double the frequency to Miraboo Park and Ride with the 74. The 74 usually goes on the highway, and it's going to go to Miraboo Park and Ride. The 171 is going to do the same thing. It's going to go on the highway, and it's going to go to Miraboo Park and Ride. And that's it. That's all the 171. It's another bus. That's it. 174, this is not the 74 bus. For some reason, STA has decided to make a 174 and a 74 bus at the same time, I guess. Well, hopefully that's not confusing. I don't know if it is. I hope with the 4 bus, you name the 24, rename the 24 to the 4, probably to eliminate confusion with the 124 is my guess. But here we go. The 174, it goes directly to Liberty Lake employment areas near Comcast. So this one immediately goes to the highway and continues on I-90 until it gets to Liberty Lake Park and Ride. It exits and it goes to the Tech campus. This is eastbound in the morning and westbound in the evening. So eastbound in the morning means it goes to here, then it interlines probably with the 172, which goes westbound in the morning. Now, and then in the evening, it's going to come from here and go to here to downtown, and then it's going to interline to the 172, which will go eastbound in the evening. This is not a good naming scheme. I've said it a bunch of times, so yeah, you should rename it. Anyways, this is basically the proposed map. This is the best I could get it. We'll go over quick changes right here. This is the city line. Again, they should refer to the number 1, but the CL is fine. This is 38, the new bus route. This is, as you can see, the 27 is going to travel along Washington and Crestline and Lincoln, and it's going to connect North Point Plaza. You have 26 and 28 being much more simplified, not connecting Whitworth. You got the new 35. You got the 22 being shortened. You got the 36 connecting the north central area of North, and then you got the 14 taking over for the 42 and the 29. Then you got the West Plains area. You can see that it does not go through Bounds Addition. You got 60 going to West Plains Transit Center instead. You got You got the 61 supporting more apartments right here, and you got the 63, I think, also supporting more apartments. And here in the valley, it's hard to see it. 94 goes all the way over to Mirabu Park and Ride, and you got the 96 still, which is shortened. You got the 74 going north of the I-90 eastbound, and then you got the 98, which is south of the I-90 eastbound. And I think that's everything. So, and also, while I have you here, naming proposal, the buses are completely, so option number 1 is probably the most expensive. If you want to you should definitely rename the 32 into 37. And if you don't want to replace all of the signs, then just grab a bunch of stickers. I've seen you do it with the area in Indiana. You might as well do it here. Since you've already spent a bunch of money this year, you might as well spend it. I mean, since you've already spent a bunch of money in 2022, you might as well spend more. 32 into 37, here's why Miru Park and Ride has 74, the 171, the 97, 7. So the 37 is a much better route. Now, because the 32 is free, you're going to change the 35 to the 32 because that is the Northside connecting route. Francis is a pretty major road, so I think it deserves the name of the Northside connecting route as the 32. So the 35 Francis Market should definitely become the 32. Now the 36 can become also, with the 35 becoming the 32. The 32, remember the 22 goes to downtown to the VA hospital. It's going to interline to the 32. There you go. Cohesion. 36 should change to the 31 or the 35. Why? Because the 36, in case you want to add a connecting route in the West Plains, you might as well leave that name open. So you should rename it to the 31. Why the 31? Well, it's associated with being closer to downtown, I guess. Downtown is the center of everything. North Central, number 1. Downtown is center of everything. North Central might as well be the 31. You can also name it the 35 because it's in Central, and the second digit 5 is usually associated with major routes. The 38, you're going to rename that the 39 because the second digit number 9 is no longer associated with SEC. Well, kind of is, but it still is associated with SEC, but now that you have the 39 open, you can name the 38 to the 39 because VTC is going to be 39, 90, 96, 97, 98, all of that. So you should name the 38 to the 39. Do not make a mistake and name the 38 and realize that you screwed over when you should have clearly been the 39. Please rename the 38 to the 39. That is a must-have. Option 1A, this is completely optional. On 29th, where you have the 43 and the 34, and they happen to interline, well, you should have the same situation with the 45 and the 94 on 3rd Avenue. You should rename the 45 to the 49 because the second digit number 9 has no longer is important to SEC. You can now name the 45 to the 49, so you got the similar situation with the 49 and the 94 along 3rd Avenue. And you can also, the 45 also deserves to be the 49 because the second digit 5 usually is important routes. The 45 is not an important route in my opinion. And number 2, the 49 is 9 is usually associated with the Valley. 3rd Avenue happens to be closer to the Valley, which is why the 45 should be the 49. Option 1B is even more optional. You can change the 173 to the 193 or the 195. You can change it to the 193 because it's kind of associated with the 94 because it travels in that area, so you might as well name it the 93. Or you can name it the 195 because it's because it replaces the 95 bus as it kind of travels along a similar route along University Avenue. And then rename the 174 to the 173 to avoid confusion with the 74 and the 174. And then you can just be extremely cheap and go with option 2A, 38 to the 39. So once again, 39 connects SEC to Valley Transit Center. 9s are associated with Valley, so therefore it should be the 39. The 36, 31, same reason. 31 is in the North Central. 1s are associated with the Central or downtown, so that's why it should be the 31. And that leaves options for a connecting route in the West Plains. Okay, so after all of this, let's look at the map one more time. Here we go. This is downtown Spokane. Hopefully you can understand this a lot more, like I certainly do after understanding much more of this. You can see it, how much more significant, how much more supported that these routes are in the north side. You can see that it's pretty supported. There's lots of gaps of space, which means that there isn't really a lot of over redundancy in their routes. You can see in the south. You can see in the South Hill. that there's definitely less routes. You can see the valley. You can also see how the 97 goes further down. You can see the 96. Hopefully you can see Liberty Lake. You got West Plains. You got the three major areas: the Cheney, Medical Lake, Airway Heights, and hopefully you understand hubs like SCC. Hopefully you understand VTC or West Plains Transit Center. And now hopefully you know that everything revolves around the downtown Spokane, because remember, this is an American transit system. So yeah, anyways, so special thank you. So this is basically the end. Just want to say thanks to STA for giving the free pass. That was pretty cool. Definitely abused it. Special thanks to a few bus drivers. I'm gonna shout out a few. Special shout out to any driver who drives the 25 and the 90. It must be extremely weird having to deal with a stressful route and then switching to like an insignificant route, such as like the 42, the 43, the 45, the 144. Oh wait, those are all South Hill routes. Okay, so thank you to those who ride the 25, who bus drive the 25 and the 90. Shout out to my 98 or 173 bus driver. And 90, 98, and 173 who've seen me on board. When they say thank you for doing my fare, like, who does that? I mean, it's required to ride the bus, yet they say thank you. I mean, that's just insane, especially on the 90, and also my 98 bus driver who says thank you for leaving the bus. I mean, that's just crazy. Special shout out to any bus driver who drives the 43, because they have to stop at Pittsburgh and 37th, and nobody stops there. So thank you for stopping there, I guess. And yeah, thank you to every single bus driver who waves back when I wave back, because validation is important, and I need to feel like so thank you for waving back when I say thank you, because that must get tiring after a long day of work. So thank you for watching, and that is all. Sincerely, Charles, and we'll finish off with Seinfeld.